Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Malachi for the Warriors Garden. Today I just wanted to talk to you about life after trauma. This is a huge, broad, very large topic, and it's not something that just anyone has any one answer to. There's multiple different ways to go about it. There's multiple ways to find healing and to find a path to get onto and a way to move forward. So today, I wanted to start with identity, and I want you to think about this, very hard, and just realize that I'm not ashamed of the fact that I've been diagnosed with PTSD. And so, knowing that, do I want my identity to be that dude's got PTSD? All that dude talks about is his PTSD. You know what I mean? Look, I've got it. Got it. Understood. Okay? But there comes a time where you have to start stepping forward, and you have to start actively looking for that path to healing. I think that we get, as a people in trauma, we get so wrapped up with forging that identity that has to do with trauma that we forget that our identity isn't about the trauma, but about who we are as a person. It's really easy to get lost in our identity these days. It's easy to get lost in your political ideations, and it's easy to get lost in your religious beliefs, and it's easy to get lost in your socioeconomic status and understanding that that this is the way that it is and this is who you are. But the person after trauma that you are is a person healing. It's not a broken person. It's not a person that is just fully injured and will never get any better. It's a person that is healing. So that's one thing is with our identities, we need to stop looking at ourselves in the mirror as that we're broken or that we're damaged, because we're not. We're wounded. And this isn't just for, veterans that have been to combat. This is first responders, family members. This is, the girl, at college that's been raped. This is the guy that was jumped at the club, or the guy or gal that works at a convenience store that was robbed at gunpoint. This is the person who came out of an abusive relationship. This is for any of us. So my point there is, don't get so wrapped up in the identity of PTSD, and get more wrapped up in the identity of I'm a person healing. And then, honestly, one of the things that I think gets missed a lot is that we don't take ownership of our life and of our decisions after trauma. One of the signs and symptoms of a person who's diagnosed with PTSD is poor life choices, poor life decisions. And I think that we allow that to happen in a way that we don't, because we're not taking ownership of our personal life situation. And I think it's time that, as people who have been through a traumatic situation, people who are living with trauma in their life, that we step up, we step forward, and we take ownership. Honestly, stop saying, this is the way I look at it. For me, I don't say that, I have PTSD anymore. I talk about my PTSD. I take ownership of the PTSD, and I talk about this in my book, A Warrior's Garden. And I literally think that if we took a stance, an aggressive stance, in that form of stag-repa, which is to stand aggressive and react passive, but we take that stag-repa stance against our personal trauma, whatever that trauma is, or wherever it's from, that life would get so much easier. And that we take ownership of it, and the healing path will be so much easier. And I think that a lot of things that we don't realize is that after trauma, our personality changes, and we kind of know that it does, but we don't understand it. And what we need to look at is that, like, for me personally, I took the Myers-Briggs multiple times throughout my adult life, before and after trauma. And before trauma, I was an ENTJ. Every time I took it, I was an ENTJ. Echo, November, Tango, Juliet. Ever since I've been diagnosed with PTSD, actually even before I was diagnosed, but since I had been through a traumatic situation, every time I've taken the Myers-Briggs, I have been an INTJ. every single time. The only thing that's changed is from extrovert to introvert. And people that know me now, that didn't know me before, don't see the introvert part, because I do what I've coined as the forced extrovert. Because I know what I was like before trauma, and that's the guy that I'm going to be when I'm around everybody else. I'll fake it until I make it kind of mentality. And so that's the thing, is that, know that your personality is not the same, and that if you get into a situation where your personality, when you're trying to be who you are, is causing, more trauma in your life, it's causing a dysphoria in your life, it's causing anxiety, it's causing all these other issues, then stop trying to fake who you are and be who you're supposed to be right there in that moment. If you're supposed to be an introvert, then be an introvert right there. Don't force it out. In my new book, Beyond the Garden, which is hopefully coming out this year, I talk about the 3 people after trauma. And the one person there's 2 people out of that I don't want you to be, and one of them is what I've coined as the quitter. And the quitter is the guy or the gal who, they're in the home, they're around, but they've checked out. They've given up. They don't care anymore. They quit emotionally and mentally. This is usually the one that's in the garage all the time by themselves, or they have a study, or they have a corner in the house where they sit by themselves all the time. They don't engage in family time. They don't engage in anything, but they haven't left. They're not cheating. They're not stealing. They're not doing stupid stuff. They're just doing them in a family environment, and that's it. So I don't want you to be a quitter. I really don't. What I want you to do, starting today, is I want you to start by getting up and getting active. Join a local gym. Go on the Facebook Marketplace and get yourself some exercise equipment. Put it in your garage or your basement and just use it once a day. If you've been someone who used to work out quite a bit in the past, so you know what you're doing a little bit, join a workout group. I've joined a group that was started by Dr. Brett Osborne and Ray Cash, called Frog, Forever Reaching One's Goals. And I fall and I get up, and I fall and I get up. I'm not always getting it done, but I'm doing a lot better than I used to do. But you need to get off the couch and get active. The part of that alone, just the getting up and moving around and getting active, will help you facilitate the ability to be more proactive. It will help you with motivation. It will give you the opportunity to be around other people in the long run that you will end up talking to, that will kind of help you to come out of that funky funk that Boone Cutler calls it. So, again, don't sit on the couch and wait for things to get better. Get up and take an active response to it. We as veterans, we as first responders, we as a people, as Americans, okay, our mentality is not supposed to be that we sit on the couch and just wait for things to happen. Get up and get it done. Get up and reach out. Grab someone's hand. Pull yourself up. Get a rope. Pull yourself out of the hole. Do what you got to do. Okay? Make it happen. Stop sitting around and waiting for things to get better, because they'll never get better. If you're waiting for the perfect time to start something, the perfect time will never come. Get up and start now. Okay? So again, don't put too much stock into your identity. You're not who you vote for politically. You're not the church that you go to. Okay? You're not the neighborhood that you live in. All right? You are who you are. Start being that. Be comfortable in your own skin. Be who you were meant to be. And for some of us, that person that we were meant to be is the person that's been through trauma. Because eventually we're supposed to use that to help other people. Don't get too tied up on the personality changing, because it's going to happen. As you grow, as you mature, as you learn, it changes anyway. Don't quit. Do not quit. Get off the couch, get active, and get on it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. We're hoping that this year the audiobook will be coming out for A Warrior's Garden, and we're hoping by the end of the year that Beyond the Garden will be published through Crate Marker Books. Keep watching, keep following the page, keep following all that we're doing. God bless. Take care. Strength and honor.